Hey folks, this is your girl Bree at Cryptic Tales of Tarot. Sorry that I've been gone for a few days. Like I've mentioned in my other recording, I've been talking to a friend about cameras and different camera angles because you guys already know that I get irritated easily with my camera. And in the last recording, I mentioned how, yeah, I want a camera that hovers over the cards so you can see them as I'm giving my reading. Okay, now this is a very serious recording here. My last recording I talked just a little bit in the beginning about how the divine masculines could be in danger. Okay, don't worry yourselves. You are protected as always, but just hear this out, okay? And after this, you have it. I gonna post a tarot reading that I did because I know that you guys are all ready for that, and so am I. Coño, toma. Shit. Stay. Alright. Today's Wednesday, right? Anyways, I just wanted to say before, if you're not having a good day, sorry, it'll get better. It's just temporary. And I know you all have gotten tired of my monologues and you did not subscribe to my channel for monologues. So yeah, more readings and shit. And I want to get like two more damn tarot decks. I need them. Alright, if anything here, yeah, and I talked about the cameras, camera angles, all of that. But anyway, let's start talking about the dangerous situations that both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are going through right now. However, before I forget, I need to mention how some people in the coven are trying to mess with our third eye chakras, aka our intuition, because we know too much. And seeing as how we're sharing it with the public, it just raises their chances of going to jail or prison. But it's no use because the police, the FBI, and the feds are already on their asses. However, if you feel like you're having issues with your intuition, just know that that's one of the side effects of a psychic attack. But you must remember, it's nothing more than a mental mind illusion spell. Okay, as I've mentioned before, the karmic masculine loves to play mind games on people, especially when it comes to black magic. And and he and the karmic feminine both know how to manipulate the energies around you to make you feel confused and that you're losing your spiritual talents. Wrong! If you're feeling this way, then you need to protect yourself. Go back to the articles that I posted about psychic attacks and learn how to transmute and alchemize this shit into something positive. 414 on the timer. Okay, now let's discuss this huge dilemma that the divine masculine has been dealing with in terms of the karmic feminine. First and foremost, they've been having a secret situationship, if you catch my drift, and it's been going on for months. The masculine thought that it was going to be nothing more than a side piece of fun, if you catch my drift. However, what he didn't know was that the karmic was doing black magic on him, specifically love spells and lust spells, so that she could keep him around permanently because she loves him. or thinks that she loves him and has always wanted a family with him. At first, the black magic worked because she was also doing mental mind confusion spells, which actually made him wonder whether or not divine feminine was right for him or if the karmic feminine was. Essentially, the karmic had the DM spun around in her web for a bit, so to speak. But after a while, this karmic feminine started to become invasive, and that she would show up to his house uninvited, and he felt like he had no other choice but to let her in because at that point, he was really starting to wake up mentally, and his intuition was kicking in big time. He was definitely in the middle of his spiritual awakening, spiritual journey, and thought that if he didn't let her in, she would cause a ruckus. Not to mention, she's got a history of causing trouble in public, even with the divine feminine. The karmic feminine hates divine feminine with a fiery passion. And the divine feminine can't stand her either because she's a troublemaker and belongs on the streets, if you catch my drift. So she's caused trouble with the divine feminine while she was with the divine masculine at the time. Okay. Well, the masculine hates drama and wasn't in the mood to deal with the karmic shit if she exploded. Quick temper. By the way, I sense that the divine masculine has been seeing numbers such as 10, 10, 11, 11, 1, 2, 2, 2, 22, 22, 3, 3, 3, 3, 11, 4, 4, 4, 4, 11, 7, 11, 12, 34, 11, 44, 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 888, 999, 808, 818, 919, 50, 50, and 50, etc. All of which are angel numbers, just like I discussed in my last recording. Moreover, based on the downloads that I've been having, the divine masculine wasn't acting like his normal self at the time. And that's because the karmic feminine was doing all kinds of rituals on him. I think that maybe he could have been a bit rude or quick tempered with people, even with his coworkers and sometimes with his close friends and blood family members. This type of behavior made them worried and concerned, so they assumed that maybe he was going through some bad personal issues at home. But whenever someone tried asking him if he was okay, he'd always brush it off and act like it was nothing. And that's because he didn't realize that he was acting inappropriately. And this divine masculine is very smart in that he actually takes the time to reflect on his life, his priorities, and the way he treats others. And for most of the time, he can usually call himself out when he realizes that he's been acting like a jerk and then apologizes to the individuals who deserve the apology. In addition to this, he didn't know that the karmic feminine was doing black magic on him so that he would love her the same way that he did on the divine feminine. But the spells were backfiring and made him act just the opposite. But the real icing on the cake was that he didn't know that she'd been doing these spells on him for a long ass time. We're talking like a year or two. And all the crazy shit she did during these rituals, like sacrificing cats, possums, and birds, etc., as blood sacrifices to the devil, or the demon called Baal, which is spelled Baal. This is for educational purposes. I am not calling upon that demon. Okay. Well, yeah, the devil or that demon, in order to get her wish. On another note, before he found this out, it says that he actually took a chance and introduced her to his closest friends and family. But during those times, I don't think she was dressing gothic like she usually does. I think that maybe she could have bought or borrowed nice clothes from one of her friends so that she could play the part of Little Miss Nice Girl, hoping that everyone would fall for her bullshit. However, I think that the divine masculine's mother figure, who was an empath, could automatically tell that there was something weird about her and might have sensed that she wasn't of the light, but of the dark instead. The reason why I'm saying this is because I've watched many documentaries about how people who have been involved with the dark side of the occult for a long ass time, they start developing a nasty odor that smells like sulfur and rotten eggs. I believe that the divine masculine's mother and other family members could have smelled the same thing and talked about it after Karmic and the divine masculine left. 11:22 on the timer. And furthermore, I sense that the mother was concerned for her son because she just didn't like the energy she was picking up on from the Karmic. Let's see. But this mother believes in giving people a chance, and so she did. With that being said, whenever the karmic feminine came over, she would offer to clean the dishes and the kitchen, and she did a good job when she was allowed to. But as time went on, the karmic feminine started asking if she could run errands for the mother or for anybody else. They were all hesitant at first, but they let her do it. So they gave her money to pay for the items, and when she came back, she gave them their change back. But I think after about 3 months or so, wow, 12:21 on the timer. About 3 months or so, the mother's instincts were kicking into high gear, so to speak, and they were telling her to stop letting the karmic feminine do things for her or for anybody else in that house. But unfortunately, she ignored her intuition and let her run small errands instead of big ones. And when the karmic feminine got back to the house, the mother asked for her change. But the karmic claimed that she didn't have it. I sensed that at that moment the mother called her out in front of everyone about how she was lying. Because based on the receipt, she should have gotten some money back. 13:13 on the timer. Based on the downloads that I got, the mother wanted to check the karmic feminine's purse, but at the same time, it's common knowledge that nobody should ask that. So in this case, it was like a double-edged sword. 13:31 on the timer. I think the mother let her get away with it once, but the karmic feminine was never allowed to help them with anything again. Because of this incident, whenever the karmic feminine went over to visit, the atmosphere would always be awkward. Not to mention, everyone made sure to keep their money close and hidden away from her. Speaking of stolen money, one of the downloads that I got was that there was a time when the karmic feminine asked to use the bathroom. And when she did, she was slick and started searching the bathroom cabinets and drawers, 14:14 on the timer, and found a big stash of cash and stole it. I must admit that if there was money hiding in the bathroom, then that was a one hell of a smart move. But you've got to remember, she's a sociopath, just like the karmic masculine is. So she's very calculative, and when she's trying to steal shit from people, she'll search in places that a normal individual wouldn't. Having said that, the next time the mother used the bathroom, she checked if the cash was still where she put it, but it was all gone. I sense that this stash of money was a large amount. I'm talking somewhere like, I don't know, 2 to 300. So of course the mother knew who took the money and she was gonna follow her intuition from then on. 15:15 on the timer. And the next time the karmic feminine came over to visit, it wasn't a pleasant experience at all. With that being said, when the karmic feminine came over, of course, the mother immediately started asking her questions about money, and then the karmic feminine put on the waterworks per se and tried to give a reasonable answer, which is typical behavior of a sociopath. Nobody believed her, and the mother demanded that she leave. Well, let's just say that the karmic feminine not only refused to leave the house, but also admitted to taking the mother's change. So basically, this karmic feminine was throwing her balls in the mother's face, which resulted in the divine masculine breaking shit off with her right then and there. But he also defended his mother and that the karmic feminine must leave immediately, or he was going to get the law involved to escort her off the property. And believe it or not, but the karmic didn't believe that the divine masculine was going to do it. But he sure did. Having said that, the police arrived at the house, but I sensed that it took them like 20 minutes to get there because it wasn't a case of domestic violence. Anyway, I sensed that there were two police officers who came and separated everybody so that they could get everyone's side of the story. And everybody's testimony matched up except for the karmic's. Because of the karmic's lies, she was escorted off the property and taken back to her home. Now, here's the plot twist. Seeing as how she had been to the divine masculines several times and ran errands for them, she was able to take secret photos of the house address, so that she could use it to take advantage of that later on. Nobody ever expected this, not even the masculine. Okay. Then again, as previously mentioned, the karmic is a sociopath. And she's been working very diligently with the karmic to assist him in creating a plot to get the divine masculine arrested. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, y'all. Get ready for this. The reason why they've been trying to think of ways to have the DM get arrested, the divine masculine to get arrested, is because it'll keep him separated from the divine feminine forever, as his reunion with the divine feminine is literally right around the corner. We're talking like this October. And I mean, remember how the coven was trying to think of ways to get the divine feminine arrested months ago? That idea wasn't just about ruining her life to the utmost extreme, but it was also to keep her permanently away from the divine masculine. So if we can't get one to go to jail, let's try and get the other one to go to jail to keep them permanently separated. 1919 on the timer. In addition to this, I think the karmic feminine called the karmic masculine as soon as she got home to let him know what happened. And I think that the karmic masculine ended the phone call by saying, "Don't worry about it. I got this." Well, I think that karmic feminine and karmic masculine got to work immediately by getting their tech genius friend, who I think goes by the name of Brent. to do some dirty work on the internet to gain access to the masculine and his mother's financial status regarding their identity, their social security numbers, and whether or not they had credit cards. Based on my downloads, unfortunately, these assholes got the information they needed, just like how they got the information they needed when it came to the divine feminine. Furthermore, I got visions of the karmic feminine having a total blast, going on a shopping spree using the cards, and of course, the karmic masculine was right up her ass shopping too. Let's see. As this was happening, the masculine and his mother were busy signing paperwork to get restraining orders against the karmic feminine. Unfortunately, during this time, while they were working on getting restraining orders, they had no idea that the karmic feminine and karmic masculine were using their money. My intuition tells me that the divine masculine and his mother didn't know that their money was being spent until their cards were being declined when they went shopping. 21:21 on the timer when I said that. This was the snapping point for the divine masculine, his mother, and the rest of the family, because they all had to call their banks and explain the situation, get new debit cards and credit cards, and file reports on the assholes that stole their money. Because they were going to get their money back one way or another, even if that meant having to go to court. Needless to say, this whole situation turned into a massive shit show. On another note, I think the karmic feminine had the audacity to show up at the masculine's house. That is, after she had been served with documents about having a restraining order. The only reason she went to the divine masculine mother's house was to apologize for stealing money. And she did it because she was late on paying her rent and utilities, which meant that she would also have to pay a late fee for being late. Obviously, the mother didn't accept the apology and called the cops to have her removed again, took her to jail. If this hasn't happened yet, then it's going to happen shortly. After the karmic feminine was escorted off the property, the mother called the divine masculine to give him an update about how the karmic feminine actually came to her house to apologize for stealing. She ignored it and called the police to have her arrested. I think I'm going to leave you guys there with this because there's a lot more information to this story. And I can't keep going with the monologue. 23:23 on the timer. But P.S. To all my divine feminines out there, including myself, excuse me, remember that this asinine situation is almost over. Confirmation. And even though the karmic feminine has been doing voodoo on you and sending psychic attacks, we're gonna make it out of this dark phase together. As they say, there's a silver lining at the end of the tunnel. Finally, I just want to let my old childhood friend, whose initials are MMR, which stands for Maria Margarita. I'm keeping the last name anonymous for privacy purposes. I know I'm fully aware of the fact that you're still trying to do black magic on me in various ways, especially when it comes to cursing my finances. And as mentioned in a previous video, my dead father, who was more of a father to you than your own father was, is highly disappointed with what you've done. And because of that, you're going to have to suffer the consequences via bad karma for the rest of your life. There we go. Alright, folks, I hope you enjoy the next video, which is tarot reading.